Hello, my friends. Katie Day with the Moving to Texas team down here in Houston, Texas, here with another episode of the Real Advice podcast. If you are not following this week's guest on social media, you definitely should be. His social is great, but lots of video marketing-based agent out of San Diego. I'm really not sure when I first started following him on social media, but one of the things that I like the most is not only his market knowledge, but the info he posts on the real estate market, the real estate industry as a whole. He supports a ton of local businesses and organizations, and then a lot of fun stuff. You get a glimpse into, his family life, workouts, sarcasm and jokes, glamour shots, and much more. He also contributes on national platforms with his broker and Inman, and also with the broke agent. But in addition to all of this, he also finds time to sell some houses and ranks in the top level of San Diego real estate professionals. Please join me in welcoming Jason Cassity.
What's good? Hello.
What is up, man? I'm excited that we were able to carve out some time to do this. So I appreciate you taking some time today.
Of course, absolutely. That was a fantastic intro, by the way.
Figured, I didn't want to bring down the mood by mentioning the broke agent, but I know that you recently did a market update kind of scripting, piece for them that looked great, and I know more stuff's probably coming on that front. So national platform, figured I'd mention it.
Yeah, good looking out. I appreciate it. Shout out to the broke agent,
Eric. Shout out to Eric. So, for someone that may not know you, Jason, tell me a little bit kind of about you and getting into real estate.
Sure. Yeah. So my name's Jason. Like you said, I have a team of 6 agents here in San Diego, California. I live in the burbs now. I just bought a house in about 15 minutes away from downtown, but our office is in downtown. I lived there for 10 years, right by the ballpark. And yeah, so I've been in the business for 9 years now, and grown my team over the past 3 or 4, I guess you could say. We're with Compass. We've been with Compass for about 3.5 years. Before that, we were with an indie brokerage for 5 years. Just a mom and pop with 6 agents type thing. So other than that, we work with a marketing company called Curator. They do a lot of our marketing for us, a lot of online lead gen, and a lot of content creation, right? Whether that be video, just like, you put out a ton of video, but video content creation over the last couple of years has been huge. And then we obviously distribute it on social media, and that's kind of our core focus. But yeah, like you said, and behind all that is we also sell houses, right? So we sold 75 houses last year for $62 million, which was our best year as a team, and looking to take that to the next level this year.
Yeah, that's awesome. I guess that's probably where I had heard about you was Curator, right? Because they'll often feature like agent things and agent marketing and stuff in kind of their pitches and in their presentations and stuff like that. So I think I was probably like, oh, that's slick. Like, let me follow him. Because I know I've been following you for a few years now. But you were a founding agent for a Compass in San Diego. Was that?
Yeah, I don't know what that means.
One of the first early adopter.
So it's funny because we joined it 3.5 years ago. We were the first team in downtown San Diego to like open that office, but they had been in San Diego in North County, which is about 30 minutes away, like Del Mar, Rancho Santa Fe, La Jolla, all that stuff, And so we were probably a few months behind them. So but we opened the downtown office, but then it's so I think people are really leaning into that founding agent thing, but I don't know that means anything to me, but really? We were one of the first teams to join in San Diego.
Yes. Yeah. It sounds cool though, right? I mean,
I guess so. Yeah, bragging rights. I see it on people's Instagram and stuff. They're like founding agent. I'm like, okay, that's cool. I don't know. I mean, I guess that just means that you were an early mover, right? So they're just trying to get some clout.
Yeah, but I guess depending on what office that was for Compass, then it's really not that early of an adopter. But we won't dig into that. So, obviously, you just mentioned Curator, and I know you've been working with Jimmy and Chris for a while. I think that a lot of times people get scared away by the price tag of Curator, and things like that. What would be some advice that you would give to people as far as like them just starting out in real estate on the marketing front? Because I think that like for a brand new agent, they're probably not going to go sign up with Curator and do the full package of their robust marketing that they provide, right? What would be some advice that you would give to a brand new agent?
Yeah, for sure. I think that you have X amount of dollars to spend, right? Especially if you're a new agent. I mean, unless you have a ton of money, which then you're awesome. You can just head start your career because you can buy a ton of leads and you can sift through them and not have to chase them down hard enough. And you could spend a lot on video content creation and stuff like that. But if you have a set amount of money, like most new agents do, you have to really kind of strategically allocate that. We always say that there's a couple ways to generate leads. You have sweat equity or check equity. You can either work hard and door knock and cold call and call expireds, or you can check equity and you can buy your way to the top, right? If you have enough money, you can start a farm and you can buy Zillow leads and you can do all this stuff. So in your very, very beginning, you're probably your first 3 years, unless you have the check equity to just buy your way to the top, you're probably going to have to put in a lot of sweat equity. And so, in your first 3 to 5 years, maybe 3 years, let's just say that, the majority of your deals are probably going to come from your sphere or referrals from your sphere, right? So it's going to be your friends and family, your network, like if you're, college network, sorority, fraternity, whatever, like your kind of friend group, and then referrals from that friend group. So I think the best way to tackle that is to be extremely active on social media. It's 2022, let's be real. Like nobody's doing radio ads or bus benches, or, I mean, there are a few people doing that, but like, that's like, to me, that's like high level branding play. Once you've already made it, you just have disposable, and now you're just trying to solidify yourself in a market where you can just throw money away. Like here in San Diego, Dan Beer, who's with EXP, and he's like the biggest agent in San Diego. He has all the bus benches and all the, they're actually the back of the bus and the side of the bus and like billboards. And I'm like, he's at FU money though by now. He's the number one agent in San Diego. So like that probably doesn't ROI as well as other things. It's just, but he's got all the other things covered, so he can do that. Yeah. So it's 2022. I think social media is the best like arbitrage we have. And so if you're in the first couple of years, you should be diving into that, like posting 2-3 times a day on different platforms or whatever, to make sure that your sphere knows that you're an agent. You know what I mean? Tom Ferry, he'll preach that your people make decisions based on who they know, they like, they trust. Yeah. And so all of your content should be to get people to know you, to like you, and to trust you. And you can do that easiest by producing video content and other types of content on social media. And to be honest, you can do that. You can promote it with check equity. You can pay for it, but you can also get there by doing it for free. And so that's probably my biggest advice for a brand new agent. I think there is an avenue of getting onto a team and like maybe cold calling or expireds or door knocking, but you have to be really self-aware. And if that's not who you are, you'll grind your way out of the industry real quick. You know what I mean? So you really have to identify what your strengths are and then just lean into it. But for me, it was content creation and distribution on social media.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, I think that the biggest thing with that is like, yes, you still need to make phone calls. Yes, you still need to talk to your sphere and things like that. But for me, social media and videos, like those conversations at scale, right? If 30 people in my sphere see a video that I posted this morning versus me taking, pretty much all day to actually talk to 30 people in my sphere and 30 people I know, like, just the conversations at scale make it a lot more efficient.
100%. Yeah, you're right. It's a situation. Most coaches, right? Tom Ferry will tell you like the 5-5-4. You should be talking to 5 past clients, 5 follow-ups, and 4 new clients. Yeah. Steve Scholl, who's my coach, he's saying you need to be talking to 25 people a day. Doesn't care who they are, but 25 people, 25 conversations a day. You can't do that like in a 10-hour day or an 8-hour day. But with social media, you can. You can put out a compelling post that elicits 8 DMs. And then you just knocked out 8 conversations, and then you can actually follow up, see who's engaging. Maybe you get a couple phone calls in there or something like that. You can literally, one good piece of content can wipe out like half your day of having good conversations. And then you can modify your content. You can change your audiences. It's just so much more flexible than the old school. But what you just said, you still have to know how to pick up the phone when someone does call and like have a script ready if a lead does call in. I would say it's like old Gary Veeism. He had The Clouds in the Dirt, which was a movie he made, I don't know, like 5 years ago, 6 years ago, where he was talking about how he wants to buy the New York Jets as his clouds, but then he also like knows how to run a Facebook ad as his dirt. And I think about that for us too. It's like, I want to be the number 1 real estate agent in San Diego, or whatever your goal is. But like, do you know how to open a lockbox, right? And do you know how to like pick up an online lead and like answer the call, or do you know how to take a past client out to coffee and like talk? You know what I mean? So you do need to have both of those skills.
Well, and that's, like we do a lot of role play and script practice with our team. And like a lot of times people are like, get really frustrated with it. Or like, well, I'm better when I'm in front of other people, or I'm better, this, or always have reasons why they don't want to do role play. And I'm like, the entire point of script practice and role play is to like internalize the things that you should say, so that in any situation, you know how to answer those questions and know how to have those conversations. And that's where like, I think you do a lot of this too, but like one of our biggest things is like mixing the old school and new school, right? So like we do direct mail, we do postcards, we do stuff like that, but then we're also running, ads on different platforms. We're also putting out a lot of content, so really trying to mix that up. So let's talk a little bit about that. Like I've seen, some of the stuff that you've posted as far as mailers that y'all do. I know a couple years back, you did the sponsorship with the Padres, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's baseball. Yeah. Padres. So like grassroots stuff, digital stuff, like let's talk a little bit about, I guess, like why that's important. And then like kind of how you identified the different channels that you wanted to dig into.
Totally. I think direct mail is still probably the most profitable marketing venture that we do. Like when you talk about it's like 60 cents per mailer, and then and if you get a listing off that, you can get one listing every like 3 years and have it be profitable. So like if you're trying to establish yourself in a certain geographic farm, which I think most agents should, don't pigeonhole yourself. I think that's bad. If you're just like the downtown guy, I think that could come back and hurt you. But if you're trying to establish yourself in like a geographic farm, I think it's essential to have some sort of like print mail piece, because even if it's for 1 second while they're pulling it out of their mail and it's going into their trash, they're seeing you. You know what I mean? It's branding. And so if you're really, really good, you can marry the two together. So what we've done over the past couple of years is we've created landing pages for all of our mailers that go out, and it's going to be like, say we pick La Mesa, right, which is where I live in this suburb. We're going to buy the URL that says soldinlamesa.com or some version of that. And then on our mailer, it's going to be like, hey, for a custom market update for La Mesa specifically, go to soldinlamesa.com. Or now, thanks to COVID, I was going to say thanks. I shouldn't say it. Because of COVID, QR codes have like, shout out to QR codes, have made a comeback. Everybody knows how QR codes. So now instead of saying go to soldinlamesa.com, we just say scan this. Yeah. And so like they get a mailer, and on the front, it's just a nice picture and it says whatever you want to say. On the back, instead of like the old blurb we used to put, we just put a QR code and it says scan this. And we've gotten a huge jump on visits to the landing page because you can track that through Google Analytics, because now people remember how to use a QR. We're all conditioned to it because of restaurants. And so like people can just go, and then on that landing page is a little video that says, hey, thanks for visiting soldinlamesa.com. Here's our market update. Check below for some stats, and then you can enter your address for free comparative market analysis. So we've just married the old and the new together.
Yeah. No, the QR code like just cracks me up, because I remember back, so like I got into real estate 2016, full-time 2017, and I remember like one of my lenders being like, you know what you should do? You should put a QR code on your sign. And I remember like I like started thinking about it, and I talked to some people, and everyone's like, no, because like back then you had to like download an app. Right. Like it wasn't just in your camera, you had to download an app, you had to like do this stuff. So I was like, no, like these are dead. No one uses them, whatever. And then like 2020 rolls around, and now like you go anywhere you go, there's a QR code. Like order from outside, here's the menu, but tip your waiter. Like,
how funny is it? It's like Venmo and PayPal, like you can QR code someone to Venmo, you know what I mean? So it's like the technology, I think, may have been a little bit before its time, because you said you had to download an app, but once it was integrated into your camera, it became almost like a no-brainer. And it's so easy to just throw your phone up to it. Now it unlocks whatever page you want it to unlock.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. I think the only thing that I would point out is there is a significant ROI on farming, but like it is also something that you're going to have, or on mailers, but you're going to have to dedicate the time to it. I think too many people send out one just listed or just sold mailer, nothing comes of it. And they're like, oh, direct mail's dead. As Jason's saying, like this is the neighborhood he lives in, right? So he's out in the neighborhood, he's going to the restaurants, he's going to different places, right? And also sending out mailers on a regular basis. So that's definitely something.
Yeah, we always, within my team, I tell my team members too, I was like, hey, if you're thinking about starting a new neighborhood farm or something, even like an online lead gen program, Zillow leads, something like that, I was like, you need to budget 6 to 12 months in that lead gen thing before you call it quits, right? And so like, especially with geographic mailers, with the QR code to the landing page, we've gotten a little bit better at tracking like how many come in. But before, in 2014 through 20, it was pretty much just like a branding play. You didn't necessarily like know who was seeing it. And then we kind of learned how to like marry in YouTube pre-roll ads to a zip code. And so we would actually run ads to the zip code that we were farming. So then it was getting the print plus the landing page plus the geographic or the YouTube pre-roll ads plus the Google pay-per-click, all in the same zip code. Yeah. And now it's really, really productive. It's like omni-channel targeting, But like, even then I'd say you need at least 6 months of that to start to like really judge a new lead gen like program.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. 6 months in anything you do. 12 months is ideal, but
Mm-hmm,
you know,
mm-hmm,
most people can last for 6 months.
mm-hmm. Yeah.
Um, what would be, I know you read a lot and I know you always recommend books. What would be maybe, I normally ask people one book, but I think for you I need to say three. What would be like three books that you would recommend to someone to read if they were just getting started in the industry?
You're so funny. So one of the things I did in this year, my focus was to generate more video content and obviously just put out more professional videos. And you, like your single cam kind of videos with the captions on them were kind of an inspiration to that. Cause I'm like, oh, we can keep it under a minute. It'll be a reel. I can put a trending song behind it and I can use Instagram captions. And I just filmed this on Monday. The three books for every new real estate agent to read. I just filmed it. Like my videographer hasn't even started to work on it.
Oh man, so we'll make sure that this airs after you post that video so that we're not stealing the thunder for your reel, you know?
Probably like first week of February, but it's really good. It's okay. You can steal the thunder. So the three books that I said in my reel were Crush It by Gary Vaynerchuk. And it's funny because I've read all his books, except for one, I think, but I've read them all. And that was his first book. And so like, it's actually dated. Like it talks about like Tumblr and like all these other things that like aren't even around anymore. But like the concept of the book is that you're not a real estate agent, you're a media company that sells real estate. And once you start to like grasp that, and it's like, and you're the Viacom, and everybody has a TV in their hand now. It's not, and all of the channels are now Instagram and Facebook and LinkedIn, and you are supposed to create content for those channels now. And it's like, if you think of yourself as a media company that puts out content and then happens to sell real estate, it fundamentally changes the way that you think about yourself as like a marketer. And I think that's been the biggest like tip or like focus, I guess that you would say, of my entire real estate career. You know what I mean? We talked about it. Obviously, you need to know how to open a lockbox and have a script for your leads and all this stuff. Like you do need to be a real estate agent, but the game is now marketing. Because even in real estate, you're always marketing two things. You're marketing a house or you're marketing yourself to get more clients so you can sell more houses. So if you don't know how to market, you're going to be dead in the water. But if you learn how to market, you can learn the other stuff. And I do recommend getting onto a good team and learning under someone for a couple of years. Like I do recommend that. But what I'm saying is that the game for new real estate agents is the marketing side. And so like the quicker you can figure that out and figure out which channels perform best and what content performs best on which channels, the quicker that you can start to see success. And so Gary Vee's Crush It was the first book I recommended. The second one was called Stories That Stick by Kendra Hall. And she just wrote her second book.
I saw that.
I just got it just last week. I have to read that. It's on my list. But the first book, Stories That Stick, basically teaches a little bit about how you can like uncover your story, your founder's story, your company's story, whatever. And it talks about basically finding the story within and stuff, but then also how to like tell that story. It's basically like what was happening before, what big event changed, and now what's the result after. And like basically when you do, but this goes into your marketing, even down to like Instagram captions and like storytelling through your Instagram stories is like, what was the problem before, what happened, and then now what's the difference? And like basically, so we've started doing these things called like case studies. So instead of saying like just sold, like, oh, we sold this house, we're like, this is how we helped the Hendersons sell their house for this. And you start to tell the story of the client as opposed to the house that you sold. And it dramatically changes your marketing. It makes it way more approachable and things like that. So Stories That Stick was my second book. And then the third one is Conversion Code by Chris Smith. And I think that is almost like, I think he's actually writing a follow-up to that. He's writing the sequel or the follow-up to that. He's working on that right now. But Conversion Code was from 2013 or 14, I think. And it was it's like the Bible almost. And even that is a little bit dated because some of the tactics on generating Facebook leads are not there anymore. But basically the whole first half of the book is how to generate leads, like using social media. And then the whole second half of the book is how to close those leads. And he's like the OG king about sales conversion and stuff like that. So he even has a whole thing where he talks about the perfect sales call You know what I mean?
Yeah.
How to like pre-call stalk somebody and then how to like set them up for an appointment and things like that. So the conversion code was book number 3 by Chris Smith.
Yeah. Well, and then my Chris Smith that I have
Hey,
exactly
yeah,
what to say.
exactly.
I think this is a good follow up to conversion code because it's just more scripting and the right things to say in lots
100%.
of
Yeah, he
situations.
wrote that with Jimmy, so who's the other co-founder of Curator, and then they
Yep.
brought in Phil Jones, who wrote exactly what to say.
Just in general, yeah.
In general, and then they just parlayed it into real estate agent. So I don't know if you saw, I posted this, and you can't see if you're listening to the podcast, but I posted this ad on Facebook, and it was a kind of a ripoff of that book cover where it's like a whole thing, but then the words that you want are written in there. So I that was a shout back to that book cover, actually.
That's hilarious. And like now seeing you showing me that post, because obviously I saw the post online and whatever, I'm like, oh yeah, that does look exactly like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and what's really funny is I actually read exactly what to say.
Mm-hmm.
And then shortly thereafter, they came out with exactly what to say on the real estate side. And I was like, oh, well, I've got to buy this one now too, so I've got both. But yeah, the scripting in this one is a really good follow-up to conversion code for sure. Just lots of tactical things to have conversations with clients.
Big time. I coach with Steve Scholl, who's a shout out to Steve, but he's a real estate coach out here in Southern California. I mean, he's in LA, but he coaches all over, but he coaches LA, San Diego agents a lot. And one of the things that he does is he partners with Chris Voss, who wrote Never Split the Difference. So this is a bonus number 4 book, is Never Split the Difference. But a lot of what they teach is tactical empathy and basically and using certain words within your scripting to basically get to a certain answer. You know what I mean? That book, Exactly What to Say, shares a lot with Never Split the Difference as well. And Steve Scholl teaches that. So finding emotional intelligence, using tactical empathy in order to get to answers that you want, not what you think you're supposed to get to. It's interesting.
It's always funny when you're having a conversation. Like I see it a lot, like with my coaches that I've had and coach that I have now. And, when they ask you the questions that they're leading you to the answer they want you to say, right? It's basically what we're talking about. So it's like when it's like, well, Jason, you like saving money, right?
Yeah.
And you're like, yes, I like saving money, or like, it's always good to have options, right? And leading you down this path that you're going to agree to something that you don't want to agree to because they're going to ask you those questions.
Right. Yeah. That's almost every script that you get now from sales call. Like I get 2 or 3 a day, right? That are like lead gen services that are trying to sell you on something. And they're like, hey, you can take 3 to 4 more clients per day, right? Or something like that. Or if we give you 5 new seller leads a month, that would be good for your business, right? And now
it wouldn't.
I'm just like, no, I don't have the work-life balance. I can't do
that. What's funny, when my husband gets those calls, he'll actually entertain them for a minute. And then he'll be like, oh, actually, I'm no longer in real estate anymore. I don't sell houses anymore. I'm not, I quit the business. I had to go find a job. I wasn't making any money, or whatever. So
they didn't ask the qualifying questions of are you still in the real estate business?
Well, that's, right. I may be off base here, Jason, but do you sell real estate in San Diego?
Exactly.
Yeah, no, I think that's funny. The last thing that I kind of want to touch on a little bit was Discord, right? So I know that, so I guess for those that are listening that don't know what it is, what is it?
Discord, it's it's a platform, right? And so I call it Facebook groups meets Clubhouse meets Zoom meets Slack. So but all in one. And so it's a new platform. You download the app, right? You log in, you have a login. It's basically another thing. But in the professional world, we all use Slack, I think. And maybe some people use Facebook Workplace. But for where you have channels on the left and you can kind of share with your team and you can bring in multiple people and then share ideas and share documents and stuff like that. Discord does that. You create channels on the side, but then you can also have an audio channel with Clubhouse. You can also do a video channel, Zoom, and then you can also, but it's almost like a Facebook group where it's you can bring in different people around a certain thing. So we started one for Eric, the broke agent, and I was like, this is a story, or this is an idea from a long time ago. It's hey, your Facebook, he has a Facebook group too, and it's not super active. I think people are maybe a little bit over Facebook to a certain extent, and so, and it's very limited in what you can do. You can put a post and then you can get comments on it, but that's it. And so I was like, you need to start a Discord. I realized it was big in the gaming community at first, and then it grew through like the crypto and NFT community, I think. So every NFT project would launch a Discord, and that's where they shared information.
Yeah.
And so it's really early for like professional space, I think. But that's basically what it is. It's just a group space, another app where people can communicate, but then you can bigger brands. So like Eric in this sense, right? The broke agent is 350,000 followers. I'm like, this is going to allow you to go deeper with your community that you can't do on Instagram. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just, there's very limited on what you can do there.
Well, and it's just like, it's a lot more organized too, right? Because like I could imagine that he's getting, a few DMs a day as far as like reactions and, submissions of funny things and, questions and stuff like that, right? Maybe 2 or 3 DMs a day.
He can't use his DMs. He's like, DMs are useless to me. Like and so yeah, he wanted to open up a channel or a way for content submissions. He's like, hey, if people have funny memes, I'll tag you in them, but like, don't send them to me in the DMs. It's worthless, right? And so the Discord has content submission areas where you can submit memes, or you can submit funny text conversations or funny things that happen. And so people will submit, or he'll go in there and be like, hey, someone caption this, and I'll take the best one and I'll put it on my page and I'll tag you.
Yeah. What's funny about Discord is like I actually saw it on your page before I saw it on his, So I was like, oh, like what's Jason doing? And I like logged in as like the broke agent. I was like, oh, like this is interesting, and made the account or whatever. But yeah, it's definitely interesting, and it does feel very like Slacky, but then also all the other things you said, right, with the audio and video and everything.
And I think that's where someone like Eric, or in this case, so the entire reason for the Discord, like the Discord is not my Discord, it's the broke agent's Discord, and I helped him set it up because he was like, what the hell is this? And then I found myself, I use it personally because there's like some NFT stuff, and then there's this one like chess player that I follow on Twitch, and like you're getting into the weeds, but he has a Discord with like 100,000 people.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is amazing. Look at the community that they've built here. I'm like, Eric, you should do this. But Eric and I are working on a project behind the scenes about a referral network and a mastermind group. And I'm like, the first step to this is setting up the Discord and populating it. And then I'm like, by the time you have a couple thousand people in there, now there's activity every day. We can utilize the voice channel like Clubhouse and the video channel, because for this mastermind and referral network to work, we need to have a place where the coaching can go down. And so like part of what we're trying to do is bring in people like Tom Ferry and Gary Vaynerchuk and things like that to do one hour monthly coaching sessions in the Discord. Well, we need the Discord first. We needed to establish that, learn how it works, figure out all of our channels, host. We've started to do social audits and AMAs and things like that, like basically in the video chat. So we need to like basically set the infrastructure up first. And that's where the Discord was born. Yeah,
no, I love it. And I think that there's a lot of potential there, just like for individual people, for businesses, obviously for what Eric and y'all are doing. Like, there's just a lot of potential. So it's kind of
sure.
cool.
And maybe and who knows, maybe Discord goes away. I don't know. Who knows? Maybe Facebook creates a Discord or Verts type thing, and 5 years from now we're all using Facebook Discord or something. You know what I mean? Yeah. Who knows? But learning the tactic is what we're doing here. It's kind of like do I need to learn TikTok or do I need to learn Snapchat or this? So it's like, maybe not. Maybe that's not your business, but learning short form vertical video is very important. And if you learn that on TikTok, that now transfers to Instagram stories, because they've kind of merged and become kind of like Snapchat back in the day. It was like, do I need to learn Snapchat? Well, no. But by learning Snapchat, you got very good at making vertical short form videos, which probably helped you in the Instagram phase when they debuted stories, right? So does Discord, is that the answer? I don't know. Maybe it's popular right now, but if 5 years from now, community building on some third party site that doesn't even exist yet, that's what's important. It's not necessarily the Discord.
Yeah, no, I like it, and I think it'll certainly be interesting to see where it goes.
For sure.
Over in the near future.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to hit you with one last tough question. I know I told you I wasn't going to give you any.
Bring it.
Yeah. If it were your last meal on Earth, what would you be eating?
My last meal?
Yeah.
Dude, I'm a very steak and potatoes guy. So like my last meal on Earth. Okay, I take it back. So the appetizer would be ceviche. I'm a ceviche connoisseur. I just throw that out there right now. I love type of ceviche. In my honeymoon in Costa Rica, I had the best tuna ceviche that I've ever had. So if I could have that as like the app. Okay. And then also the bread with salt from Cowboy Star, which is like their appetizer. Cowboy Star is a steakhouse here in San Diego. Okay. So they bring that to you first. So I have a roll with salt from Cowboy Star, ceviche appetizer, just a bomb steak. I'm a ribeye guy, so like a boneless ribeye. With like a twice baked potato, and then I think for dessert anything like chocolate mousse type thing. Like I can't think of a dessert offhand that would be that, but some sort of version of that would be my ideal last dinner. Like if I'm on death row and I get to pick my last dinner, it would be the roll, the ceviche, the steak, the potato, and the dessert. No vegetables.
Well, I mean, why would you? We're not trying to eat healthy if it's your last meal.
Like I do that during the week right now because I have to, but I'm not wasting that.
Yeah. I just wrote down Cowboy Star because I'll probably be in San Diego sometime, in the next year.
For sure.
And last time I was there, I hit like lots of good places, but Cowboy Star, like if you're saying it's top notch.
Top notch, yeah. I think so it was the local, like just once. So like we have a Morton's and a Fleming's and all that stuff at Del Frisco's, but there's a Cowboy Star is still hands down to me the best one. But I think they may have opened in Vegas and Dallas.
Oh, okay.
To be honest, but anyways, yeah, San Diego. You're in Tom Ferry ecosystem. You're going to be in San Diego a lot. He comes here like twice a year.
Yeah, no, I love it. It's an amazing city, so I can see why you love living there. But Jason, I appreciate you taking the time today to chat. All of the great nuggets of information that you gave. Wish you, all the best and continued success. And looking forward to seeing you in Vegas for your brief trip to Vegas.
Next week, yeah, I have to do some behind the scenes. So I'm shooting a video with Eric, and then I'm doing a meeting with a couple agents from the East Coast, and then that's it. I'm literally flying in just for the afternoon, and then I'm gonna go home the next morning. So, but I will go to the Boomtown party.
Yeah, I'll see you there.
Exactly. Shout out. I'll see you next week.
Sounds good, man. Thanks again for your time. I'll talk to you soon.
For sure.